Hi guys, first off, I just want to say a big thank you and welcome to the new subscribers. Here you'll see me talking about heavy metal every other day. And also, in other exciting news, my Instagram account has gone past 800 followers. So if you want to know what my bad merch collection looks like, go over there right now. Other than that, this video will be a Which Is Better, and it is a Candlemass special. So if you like doom metal, or you're a heavy metal fan that doesn't listen to much doom metal, or somebody who's curious, then this is definitely for you. And the two albums I'm going to be looking at are Ancient Dreams and Tales of Creation. And before I continue, I will be leaving links in the description down below to check out the album Brave Murder Day by Catatonia, and even a link to my Twitter page where you get to see what songs I'm listening to on a daily basis. So looking at the Ancient Dreams album, Evolution was the name of the game for these doom metal legends, Candlemass. Playing fast and tight within a doom metal context was exactly a novelty before the album. Just remember the band Trouble and their frequent speedy excursions on their early installments, and a band called Mercy where Messiah Marcolin came from, although the Swedes' Arsenal wasn't very loosely related to doom in the first place. For the Leaf Edling gang, flirtations with a more dynamic ways of expression were the rarest occurrence. Either, although they could only be traced by the Sorcerer's Pledge from the debut and the Dark Are the Veils of Death from Nightfall, and bits and pieces from At the Gallows End as well. However, here are these expressions that take the upper hand, ready to tumble the whole doom shit down, but in a good way. I guess it's only the Kings of Doom that can pull off this without sticking to the genre regulations. And not only but to always create their own magnum opus as well, because in the long run it's the quality of music that matters and not silly definitions and dogmatic tags restricting the visions of artists. Now, I do love the first four Candlemass albums in pretty much the same way, but I tend to listen to this one a bit more than the others. And I guess it's down to the execution, its very dark, sinister tone, and its depressing, pessimistic vibe. What draws the listener in immediately is the very thick bass sound. Edling had decided to put himself up front, and the bass literally peels pieces of skin from your body and on body from the start of the song Mirror Mirror. This is arguably the most ship-shaking bass reverberation this side of Geese Butler's early feats. This dominates the landscape with such authority that there are moments from the album where it deafens the guitars even. You can hear the glasses and plates shake in the kitchen if you play the music louder. It could even shatter the foundations of a small shack. No joke. Putting the bass aside, the opener is a fabulous way to begin this morose saga. It's hard to categorize this number, but it is thrash, doom, and power, I guess. It's just a gorgeous metal. Marcolin's extraordinary vocals bringing all opera singers back to the conversatory with the closing glass breaking chords. Mournful doom notes inaugurate the arrival of A Cry from the Crypt. But what follows is the greatest gallops in the annals of metal, and it's absolutely overwhelming. The Russian tank-like steamroller guitars that leave no stone unturned during their brooding, intimidating march. But that's not all that we have here in terms of extraordinary, elegiac, sorrowful, doomy epitaph. A bit over a minute of pure musical magic, so much that nullifying pleas or doom metal opuses with just a single stroke. New metal takes over afterwards, and on the song Darkness in Paradise is one of the most emblematic songs. Dark depression in its most shiny musical form. Not much brightness on the following Incarnation of Evil, which is just another supreme doom metal anthem with a crushing main motive, which could pass for thrash if not sped up by a notch. Johansson is ravishing in some of the greatest leads from his arsenal, and not to mention Marconi's impressive, soporific, high-strung antics. Bearer of Pain brings back the more aggressive thrashy riffage, which gets mixed with the breathtaking balladic sections and the hypnotic doomy dirges to a fairly dramatic effect. Prepare for the title track, doom metal in its purest, most epic shape, largely carried by Mark Collins' splendid performance, arguably the crowning achievement in his career. The song The Bells of Acheron follows suit to bang their heads again with vigorous, speedy, flashy rhythms to the most immediate piece here. Direct, intense riffage, much doom yado. It was pretty much the perfect doom metal opus. It didn't make sense for the band to reproduce it note by note for their own gratification. Something had to change, either to inaugurate the funeral doom sector by slowing down to a snare-like rate, which wasn't such an impossible task, having in mind that the guys gave such a superb rendition of Normal March, or to speed up and impress the audience with their ability to speed thrash with the finest. They simply settled for the second option and came with another masterpiece, an album that didn't repeat their past exploits, and it had its own individual face. It's attracting a wider audience in the process. Now, I don't know a Candlemass fan who's been disappointed by this album, so I'm not surprised by its faster pace, but such grand music is easy to get into, and this overpowering bass will hypnotize you like a certain, and its snare unit's iron grip. One more grandiose opus followed a year later, again with a more characteristic sound. The bass tamed to a large extent for the sake of sharp, but still super heavy guitars. Then Marconi left, thus allowing his comrades to explore more flexible vistas with Chapter 4 to 6, which gave birth to a large scene of progressive power doom metal acts, Momentum Mori with Marconi fully operational once again, Abstract Algebra, an Edling side project, and Fifth Reason, Memory Garden, Veni Dominate, etc. More metamorphosis followed, including another stint from Mark Colling, the self-titled 2005 album, until the band found their stride again with none other than Robert Lowe from Solitude Aeternus behind the mic. The veterans are alive and well in the new millennium, and there's nothing stopping them from conquering Mount Doom again and again, be it with a slow patient stroll or with an impetuous urgent gallop. Switching gears, we're going to look at Tales of Creation. Now, Candlemass is one of those bands that came out of nowhere just to send out this beautiful heavenly vibe. Now, I'm not religious in any way, but the experience I got from this album was surely spiritual, something in that direction. That feeling is so deep and beautiful that you can only really experience it with listening to this album. The first thing that will greet you when you turn up the volume is the beautiful piece of poetry, just to be accompanied by some heavy and depressive riffs. They call it The Prophecy, a wonderful start to this magical trip, which transfers smoothly to Dark Reflections, which is a song that will give you the very best of Candlemass. From here on, you meet the Messiah, that is Mark Collin, a talented singer with a little different voice than what you might have encountered before in metal. His operatic voice really gives this album all the push it needs to go all the way up to a masterpiece and beyond. The next track, Voices in the Wind, is another kind of poetry, but this one can give you goosebumps because of its thoughtfulness. I get this feeling that no matter how many times you've heard it, it still never really gets old. Nevertheless, the next track might be something you're familiar with, namely Under the Rope, from their debut album Epicus Doomicus Metallicus. However, this version is different in that way that it's no longer Johan Lankvist who is the singer. The song Tears is that has the Messiah's feel all over it, despite all the good riffs and solos and singing the main feature hit. That is going to change very quickly when you listen to Into the Unfathomed Tower. It will deliver the most unexpected turn in the doom metal history with all its solos and fast drumming. I kind of like that they surprised with this and Tales of Creation. It's not only the work of the vocalists, it's teamwork, and here they really show what the rest of the band is capable of. Its speediness, it won't ruin your deeply constructive feeling of heaven and wonder. It will just stay the same, but the next track, Edge of Heaven, will enhance that feeling further and will go as far as to say that probably the most epic song on the album is like embracing emptiness, sadness, and hopelessness in one mix. Very different genuine feeling, something that will continue throughout the album. But songs like Somewhere in Nowhere and Through the Infinite Halls of Death, it's all mystical in nature. What's so brilliant about this album is that they put the last piece of poetry just before the final track. It will also boost with the title track, the last one, with all what is needed to say goodbye. It leaves you with a feeling of harmony and well-being, and so do I. On that note, let me know in the comments down below what you thought was the better album. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.